All right, Iron Cross, man-to-man combat on the East Front, 1941 to 42. Playing Scenario 3. This is a strategy and tactics magazine game. Scenario number 3, Closing the Ring. Great game. Let's say nearly forgotten. Yeah, sure, nearly forgotten. All right. So I've started, obviously. I just want to talk about some things that... I just realized part of the picture is cut off. Oh well. Still going to talk about it. So I've moved... So it's the movement phase of the first turn. Most of the German units, basically all the German units minus the platoon sergeant and one squad, come on the map. So what that means is that's Charlie Squad, Bravo Squad, medium machine gun, and two, first time I'm playing with tanks, two Panzer III's. Alright, so let's talk first about these, since I don't know how, oh yeah, I guess that's, it's very tiny writing, but let's see if I can, alright. So we've got the type up there that says 3E1. 1 is this particular vehicle, because number 2 is on the, number 2 is right here, actually. So it's number 1, type 3E, Panzer 3E. Up here is a 5. That is its AP initial range. That makes sense. So anti-personnel initial, or yeah, initial range. Over here there's a 9. That is the AT factor. So it has an AT factor of 9. Down here the 16 is its AP factor. So this is the same as a infantry unit. AP factor, lower left, upper right is initial range for AP. 6 is the overrun factor. Overrun factor 6 in this case. 11 is the really cool, it's the performance rating, just like a squad. So this crew is slightly better than that crew. That's so cool, and that's the type of thing I'm looking for right there. These tiny numbers, these ones are smaller even than these. The font is even smaller. It's like a 2.5 font here, but you have two numbers there. In this case it's 3 and a 3. The top 3 is the frontal modifier, and the bottom number 3 in this case is the flank modifier. Alright. Now, front is with the crew operating the tank in an up position, up posture. Flip it over, it's buttoned up. Now, I chose to have both tanks enter the map buttoned up. Why? Because the Germans know, even though there's been no sighting or no contact yet, the Germans are entering this little small built-up area here. They know that they are potentially within 100 meters of the enemy. Remember, these are 10 meter hexes, so they know they're clearly within 100 meters, almost certainly, of the enemy. So realistic, I think, that both tanks would be operating buttoned up. So again, you got another Panzer IIIe right here. So number 1 Panzer IIIe and number 2 Panzer IIIe. Okay, so I had, various teams come on the board. Now they're flipped over with the white writing, except for these guys are up. Actually, these guys are up and most of the rest of them are down. So all these stacks, these teams are down, again because they're flipped to their backside with white writing, so they're down. But most of them came on up, and then they spent 2 movement points to flip down. In this case, in general, units are going to be moving individually, except if it's leader-directed movement. Just to let you know. So most of these did not come on in stacks. Most of these came on as they're supposed to, one unit or soldier at a time. Okay, there's that. So all of these units from medium machine gun over here all the way through all these guys to the tanks to these guys up here, they all came on in the first movement phase of the first turn. So instead of marking every single unit, I marked to the side of the grouping. But this is how I'm doing it. The Iron Cross does not come with moved or fired markers, so I am using some old ATS markers. So ATS marker for movement, and I have an old number counters from some Clash of Arms game. I think it's Clash. Anyways, some old number markers. So what this means is that all these units, all these soldiers moved in the third phase. I should say the last third phase. If you're not familiar with this game, it's a great game. But again, hardly known, hardly remembered. And if you have not seen any of my earlier videos on this game series, yeah, I guess it is a series, sure. You'll see why all of this is important. But basically, you can see not only do you have to mark your units as having moved as their last action, you need to know when they moved, which phase they. And again, if I later figure out that I've got that wrong and that's overkill, great. But as of now, I still think that you have to know which phase they moved in. Let me see if I can quickly recall. I mean, I'm just remembering what I figured out before, but so you know it's the German player phase. The game doesn't come with a turn track, so I just used the side track and used the last digit of the hex ID. So the last digit of the hex ID here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So I'm just using that as my turn track. This is my north-seeking arrow marker here, chit. So this way is north. Germans come on the map heading north to south. By the way, the battle is basically for control of these two hills, these small hillocks. These two hills, J and K, I think. This is what the whole battle's about. It's kind of easy, straightforward. What was I saying about? Oh yeah, movement. So okay, so if you know it's the German phase, German player turn, I mean, because you have your marker. German player turn. We get to the Russian player turn. So if they moved, they can move in the third phase, like I'm saying. Could they move in another phase? Reaction movement phase? Well, wait, I'm looking at the wrong. Movement phase, reaction movement phase, that's non-phasing player. Defensive fire, moving fire phase. The phasing player may attempt to fire any of his normal status units. Moving fire phase. No, moving fire phase is a fire phase. Assault phase, free down. So now I'm trying to remember why I thought I needed to know, unless it's just for firing. Well, I guess I'll figure that out. I'll leave it for now. All right. So again, all these units they moved in the last third phase, and this was my last. Actually, this is the last unit. So the buttoned-up tank, I think he pays 2 movement points. He has 10 movement points for this phase. He spends 2 per clear hex. So 2, 4, 6. He's going to stay here behind. He's going to stay behind his infantry. And that's German movement onto the board. Most of the force.